Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you, another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks, sampler review series videos I've been doing for a little while now. I'll go over there, try out food and drink items. Eat stuff and drink stuff, then, folks, I'm going to talk about stuff. I'm going to let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff that time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not going to lie. I hope that this one is more impressive than the last one I just reviewed. But we'll get to that. Folks, it's super simple format. I'm going to go over there and I'm going to try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm going to yammer on about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I'm inside my truck, and whilst I'm doing all that, folks, I am wearing grody work clothes. Typically, I'm inside the truck, I'm wearing grody work clothes. That means I was on my way home from work. I found some shit to review for you. That is definitely the case today. Got off of work, I needed some supplies. Decided to go over there and head out to Walmart. And originally, I found some stuff to review. I was going to review a Ben & Jerry's, one of their new flavors. I was like, ooh, Ben & Jerry's. I go over there. I get all my stuff. It's all good. I get home. I go through the bag. My Ben & Jerry's isn't there. Either they forgot to put it in there, or at some point I dropped it along the way. I'm not going to go over there and cast shade one way or the other because at the end of the day, I don't know. But thankfully, I did have a couple of other things to review. What are said things? What are we doing here, folks? Well, the first thing was, boom, Powerade Sour for Sour Power. This is their blue raspberry flavor. I just got through reviewing that one. Go watch that video. But that's not the only Sour Power Powerade, because they also have, boom, it's this one. It is their watermelon lime, which I don't know, that sounds like it's going to be great, but so yeah, they got a couple new flavors, and I decided, you know what, fuck it, man, I'll tag in on these. It's not often that Powerade does new stuff. They kind of just coast, which is fine. Powerade's fine for what it is. It's basically just discount Gatorade made by Coca-Cola. I'll be honest, I didn't expect it to hold out as long as it has. Genuinely. It has Coca-Cola behind it, but I really kind of figured that Gatorade would have just killed it by now. But they keep doing it, so good on them. Let's try this one out, see how it is. Oh, before we do that, let's get a thing for the thing before I forget. So it looks like this. Ha 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 ha! Ha 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 ha! Something like that. People seem to like my evil laugh when I go over there and get my my thumbnail pictures. I appreciate that. Smells kind of nice. Alright. I like this more than I like the other one, but it's not. So, alright. With the raspberry one, the blue raspberry one, the whole thing is, my issue with these is like, look, it's so sour. We're putting this is a highlighted thing. That's supposed to be the kitsch bit, right? Now, I'm not saying there isn't a sour flavor to it. There is, sure. Is it substantially sour? No. Is it a sourness that I would particularly feel is worth mentioning? No. Like, if you're going to highlight that aspect of it, I don't know. It's marketing, but it feels very disingenuous because, yes, it does, again, it has a sour flavor to it, but it's not anything to write home about, and I feel like if you're putting that on your brand, there should be some zing to it. As is, it's fine. It's a sports drink. It drinks nicely. I'm sure it'll be refreshing enough for me. The thing that I do like about it, honestly, is the flavor. Because I've had cucumber lime and stuff like that. I don't know that I've ever had watermelon lime as a flavor combination. It kind of reads like a, sort of a watermelon lemonade combination, but the watermelon is more at the forefront, and the lime is kind of there, but it's more for a little bit of a citrusy, soury zing, I think. But it's not bad. again, at the very least, like with the blue raspberry, it's just blue raspberry, fuck it. This at least has a little originality to it. Now I will say, and I've mentioned this before, when it comes to watermelon flavored things, I am not a big fan of the amped up watermelon flavor, especially when it comes to artificial watermelon flavor. I don't know at what point it occurred, but some point in the past, before I was born, I'm assuming, someone decided that watermelon as a flavor was not good enough. It had to be more. They had to just. I have hated that ever since I was a kid. In fact, I still remember the very first time because I think they're still around. They had a product called Blow Pops, which were stupid as shit, but they had a catchy commercial when I was a kid. You can still watch it on YouTube, I'm sure. It was, these little suckers that had bubblegum in them. And one of them was watermelon. And I was like, shit, I like watermelon, let's do this. And so my grandpa bought me one from a store, and I remember eating it and being like, this doesn't fucking taste like watermelon. Watermelon isn't like amped up and stupid. It's a nice mellow flavor. So this has some of that. That's kind of what I was getting towards. But I can kind of go with it. I'm a little bit less iffy about it than I used to be. But yeah, honestly, I think it's okay. There's not a lot of distinct lime flavor. I really do think it is more for that sourness and, again, a little bit of a citrusy kind of thing. But the overall of it is perfectly fine. It's nothing to write home about, and again, I think the sour aspect being so prominently displayed is, again, a little bit of a, it's just a marketing ploy. But it's fine. There's nothing. I'm not for it. I'm not against it. I'm just kind of in the middle on it. It's fine. But two questions have to be asked. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? Maybe and sure. Like, it's same kind of thing with the blue raspberry one. I'm not going to go over there and give it, like, a full ringing endorsement because, like, I do just feel like it's, I think it's one of those things, oh, look, it's sour, and then, hey, it got me to buy it. But then that's kind of where I come into play with my review, is like, do I think that the sour aspect of it is anything that should be a catch for somebody, if they're looking at it? Honestly, no. I don't think that it really plays a big enough role in the drink for it to be really worth mentioning. Again, you could, just like with the blue raspberry one, you could have just called it watermelon lime and, omitted the sour aspect from the namesake. Would have been fine. It would have just been, hey, we came out with a watermelon lime, and because it's watermelon lime, it's got a little bit of a zing to it. That would have been okay. But they went over there, they put sour very prominently on there as a means to go over there and eye catch. And sure, like I said, it worked on me, so. But, would I get it again for the sourness? No. But I kind of like the watermelon lime flavor. And again, it's something that's at least a little bit original, so maybe I'd pick it up again. It wouldn't be anything I'd go out of my way for, but if I ran into it. If I'm recommending it, though, it is one of those things where it's like, kinda. Like, if you want to give it a shot, give it a shot. But I think by now, Powerade has existed for long enough that we should all be very reasonable in our expectations of what to expect from Powerade. I've never once had a Powerade flavor that I thought was, like, particularly great. Like, they're fine. I would say at best, I've had some that are good. Ones that I kind of like. But, at the end of the day, it is just largely cheapo Gatorade. And it's not even really all that cheap these days. This being a kitschy little thing to kind of try to catch people's eye, okay, I guess. But, at the end of the day, it's Powerade. And you can take that however you want. If you like Powerade, sure, give it a go. If you're not into Powerade, I don't think this is going to change your mind. 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of your week, monumental rest of month, stupendous rest of your year. Folks, go over there, have yourselves a truly better than Powerade-tastic rest of your life. I mean, Powerade's been around, they're doing their thing, but like, whoever thinks to themselves, oh boy, Powerade. I'm sure there's people, to be fair, but. Final 2 things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity into the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated, but What you do if you can't do it all the time, I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you're going to do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Folks, it's not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me. I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. Life can be stressful and frustrating and just bullshit sometimes, folks. And when we find ourselves in situations where we have to deal with said bullshit, it's important that we go over there whenever possible. Take a step back. Try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives. Hopefully, do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, what's your take on Powerade? You know, I've made my opinion pretty clear. But like I said, I don't hate the stuff or anything. It just kind of is. But I'm sure that there are people out there who, you know, probably like it more than its contemporaries. I just think for me personally, it's just, again, I've never had a flavor or anything that really wowed me. Even if I go to like some of the more generic, like, you know, store specific stuff, like there are some 7-Eleven flavors, like the 7 Select stuff, that I actually really like. Like I'll gladly grab those before I grab most Gatorades and stuff. Powerade's never had that. I've never once had a flavor where it was like, yeah, okay, all right. You know, like their lemon lime is pretty good. You know, I think they had a white cherry. I don't even know if that one's around anymore. I haven't seen it in I don't know how long. But they're fine. Fine. But it was one of those things, is for me personally, as soon as it got to a point where it wasn't really much of a cheaper option, it was just like, all right, then I have no interest. But maybe you have a different opinion on it, and I'd love to hear about it. So hit me up in the comments. Bye.